Now we're rolling. Damage Plan MMA podcast. I am Jason. He is Zach. What's cracking?
What's cracking?
Monday morning, baby.
Yeah, that was a fun weekend.
Got to get my monster on.
Where do you want to start?
We got so much stuff to talk about. I don't even know where to start.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how afraid of LeBron James do you think Colby Covington is?
0. Big fat 0.
You know what? I'm just going to start right here. I'm just going to start with this right here. I've always said I just don't want politics in sports.
You read my mind. I literally was going
to. I don't really want it. I don't love it. I like Colby Covington's character. It felt a little bit more real than his character Saturday night.
Yes.
Which you know, I didn't care for Woodley's antics, and I don't really. I thought the call from the president was cringy, cheesy, but part of the character a little bit. But I think Colby went a little too hard the other way. All for him supporting the police, but he didn't have to go bad mouthing Colby Covington after the fight the way he did.
My thoughts,
or Tyron Woodley.
My thoughts were 100% that exact same thing. After, first of all, I didn't agree with with what he had to say when on his press conference. And then, if you remember right, I messaged you and I said, I hope Colby doesn't say anything stupid after to ruin it. And
what did I tell you?
You said he would. You said he is.
100% he will.
And he, in my opinion, he did. I agreed with some of it, but where I thought he kind of went off was when he was talking to Usman. If you were listening, he said something about, because Usman said, "Oh, you better wipe your mouth from talking to the president," and Colby says, "Oh, you're just mad because you didn't get a call from your tribesmen can't call you. What do you want them to do? Build a smoke screen fire or something?" I mean, that's crossing the line to me. That's too far. Like, I mean, with the state of everything that's going on right now, I do not think. I just don't think, like you said, the politics shouldn't be in the sport. Like it is. Sports is supposed to be there to bring us together, right? Like as a nation, that is the one thing. Like what happened after 9/11, when they had these baseball games and they have all these big games, it brought everybody together. Now you're seeing with what Kaepernick did, and I understand he's bringing attention, and I get that, but now you're starting to see it get into the politics side of things, and it's dividing us. It's flat out dividing us. You can argue it all you want, but it's dividing us, and I don't want to see it, man. I
don't want to see it in sports.
I don't want to see it in sports. If you want to voice your opinion, go into your communities, voice your opinions in your communities to your mayors and your governors. Don't do it on a national stage like that, because now you're getting people that are, I mean, I hate to say it, but you're getting this white versus black. You're getting this Colby Covington versus LeBron James, and you're getting this.
You're not getting just white versus black. It's the Black Lives Matter versus like Republicans or whatever thing, because you're getting white people to support Black Lives Matters, and you're getting, and there are outspoken black people who are, you know, Trump supporters or whatever that.
True.
And so it's not even just that. It's just that like this like ideological like tribalism that like you have to entrench yourself on one side or the other, and you can't. Like there's no middle ground where you can see both sides.
Yeah.
And that's frustrating to me. That I don't like that. Like I said, I don't like both ends of it. I'm trying not to give Colby a pass because I'm not trying to give Colby a path because you would say that I lean more towards the right than the left.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Part of it is it's his character, right? It's not as political to him as its character. But like you said, what I don't like is that it felt like it went more to he was being honest who he was, and he was bringing it in kind of like Tyron did. I don't want to see either side. I don't want to see Black Lives Matter on a basketball court.
True.
I don't want to see Trump 2020 on a basketball court. I just
100%.
Want to see, but all that being said, for those that don't notice, Colby ran through Tyron.
I mean, did we think it was going to be any different? I didn't.
No, we knew it was. We said it was.
It was. I mean,
and I kind of want, and I would have actually been one that, all politics aside, how awesome would it have been if Tyron would have came out and landed an overhand and flatlined Colby and shut him up, and like it would have been fun. It would have been a fun storyline, but it didn't. That's 15 straight rounds that he's been dominated at championship level, but dominated. And if I agree with Dana White. I think it's time for Tyron to. I'm not going to tell him to retire, but he's never going to be taken seriously as a title contender again. He's not there anymore.
No, it's definitely not there. I mean, you have 3 fights in a row where, I mean, at one time he was one of the greatest welterweights of all time, and now everybody's looking at him like he's a bum. I mean, look, the guy's not a bum. It's Father Time is catching up like it does with all of us, and unfortunately, I think it's caught up with him. And to give him credit, his last 3 losses have been to Colby Covington, Gilbert Burns, and Kamaru Usman. I mean, you're talking about the top 3 welterweights in the world right now, outside of our other boy we're going to talk about here in a minute. But, I mean, he's not like before that, he beats Darren Till, he beats Damian Maia, he beats Stephen Thompson, he beats Robbie Lawler. I mean, he's got an impressive resume, so maybe it is time to just hang him up.
Dude, he should. He had a great career. He's one of the most decorated welterweights of all time. At one time, you could argue he was the 3rd greatest welterweight of all time behind Hughes and GSP.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
He had a great resume. He's 38 years old. Can't do this forever. He's obviously has other career paths. Go be an analyst.
Yeah. Very much. I think he can. Look at all these other guys that are doing it.
And according to a lot of people, Michael Bisping isn't very good, but he's making a very good career out of it.
I would love to see Tyron versus instead of Bisping. Sorry,
Tyron, just go be a good analyst. And I don't particularly care for Tyron in the booth, but it's like, man, you're a welterweight. Like those guys, you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like, you could say whatever you want about Brendan Schaub, but at least when he started being 1 foot in, 1 foot out, he left, right? For whatever reason, sponsorships, whatever, for whatever reason, he left. It was the right move for him. He made the right move because he could have fought another 3-4 times, and it probably wouldn't have gone very well for him because he was too into his comedy career and podcasting. And once you get too many distractions, it takes away that hunger and that dog in you. And it's just, once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah. And it's clearly gone after those last 3 fights, even though they were top contenders, he didn't show.
But he didn't have that fire. Like he didn't have the, like, I'm going to kill you. Like he doesn't have that anymore. All
that bad blood between those 2 guys.
Right.
And they when they had the face off before they fought, he reaches out to touch gloves. Covington was like, he ain't having none of it.
Colby still has that. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah,
Colby has that.
Tyron
does not.
Isn't it funny that you look at Colby Covington and you're thinking, this guy can't fight? Like just looking at him, I mean, he's an athlete, don't get me wrong. But I mean, just his demeanor, like his walk to the cage, when he's standing there, I'm just looking at his demeanor and I'm thinking, God, this guy just doesn't look like he can fight. And then he comes in there and he dominated Woodley. Like he legit dominated Woodley. I mean, what's next? What's next for Colby?
Jorge or Usman. That's it. That's the list. If you're Colby Covington, those are only 2 fights.
Or the winner of
or Gilbert Burns.
I mean,
but you know what? Even if Usman loses, he could still fight. He could rematch Usman for a number 1 contender fight.
Yeah, I mean that was actually a really good fight. Though
it was a great fight.
Yeah,
it was a great fight.
I just don't want it to get when those 2 fight. Going back to what we talked about at the start, the only reason I would not want to see that right now is I think it's just going to be horrible. You're just going to get people taking one side or the other. And props to Usman for not responding to Colby's comments, because when Colby made those comments about this, I was like, ooh, I would be pissed. And props to Usman.
You know what though? He can't though. He's an analyst right there. He's not a fighter. He can't.
I mean,
in that setting, he can't.
I agree.
But
props though. He kept it pretty calm.
But if they're signed to fight and they're doing a press conference, fighter versus fighter, I'll bet you Usman addresses that.
Yeah, but he's pretty. I mean, I haven't really ever heard him say anything leaning one way or the other. You know, he's pretty. I mean, he's a pretty well-spoken guy. He's
Smart.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. I think he's not playing the game. He's not playing a role, basically. I mean, as much as I'd love to see it, I just don't want it to get into that one side or the other, that, hey, you need to root for Kobe because he's the all-American kid. All right, great. I get it. He supports the troops. And, you know, I'm obviously that's huge for me. But when I'm going to say the same thing that I said with Tyron earlier, I didn't agree with it. I don't want to see it for Kobe or Tyron, either side. Just let them fight. Anyways, that's our rant for there. So Kobe Jorge would be, that'd be good.
Yeah, but it sounds like Jorge wants the Diaz money fight next. Or do you make Colby Leon Edwards and finally let Leon Edwards fight somebody?
Why does Leon Edwards just keep getting left out? I mean, what is he on, a 9-fight win streak?
Because it's what Chael said.
He's not relevant.
He does everything correct except be interesting.
That's crazy, man, because he's talented. But I don't know if Kobe would want that. I don't know if it's the excitement's not there.
I mean,
give our boy Chimaev.
Nobody wants that fight, bro. Nobody wants that fight.
You got to give him somebody in the top 10, but
nobody wants that fight.
6 through 10, I think he walks through. So
if I was Damian Maia right now, I'd go hang out at COVID clinics until I caught it, and so I could pull out of the fight.
I don't want to see that fight. I did before this last one, but now after this last one, no.
Nope.
That's 6s. So Mershit and Maia to me are 6s.
So Platinum Mike Perry's is calling for the Chimaev fight.
I don't even. He rolls Mike Perry. He beats Mike Perry 100 out of 100 times. It's not even close. But I was thinking about this last night. Chimaev, if Dana might want to build the hype train a little bit more, so maybe he does give him the Maia fight to build him up even more.
Oh yeah, no, for Dana, that's the fight. So he's had 3 fights in the UFC, right?
Yes.
Say he beats Maia, it's 4. Who does he get after that? Maybe like a Wonder Boy?
You got to. I mean, you
right?
have to put him up there with.
Then that's 5. Then he's looking at, like, I think after Maia, it's either Wonder Boy and or Leon Edwards.
Pettis? I mean, Pettis is actually ranked higher than Wonder Boy, I think.
No.
I think he is.
Because Wonder Boy's 6.
Is he 6th?
Yeah.
UFC rank. What were they at? I thought I saw earlier that he was ahead of him. I mean, outside the Edwards is 4, Jorge's 5, Woodley obviously is going to drop. Yeah, they have Diaz. Why do they have? Or I'm not looking at UFC. I'm looking at some other rankings. Or is it the same? I don't want to see him against Maia. I don't want to see him against Chiesa. Maybe Wonder Boy. I would rather see Wonder Boy than Maia right now.
I think Wonder Boy could make it interesting because of his length and his style to maybe like use his range to keep him away a little bit.
You know who tweeted at him? Neil Magny. Because Chimaev added him on Twitter. He's like, "Oh, I got a new fan." He said, Neil Magny, because they're not.
Well,
I mean,
so that's actually, it's kind of sucks that they're already paired up, because the two that I actually would really like to see Chimaev fight next is either Jeff Neal or Neil Magny.
He's showing he's above of Neil on this ranking, on the ranking thing that I'm looking at. He's ahead of him.
Chimaev?
Yeah, ahead of Neil.
Did the new rankings come out?
I don't know if this is a new one or not. I'm looking on MMA World Ranking or RankingMMA.com. But it has Chimaev.
I'm talking in the UFC rankings.
I don't know. I'm gonna go to the app. I don't know how accurate that is compared to the app.
See, right now, Tyron Woodley's 5, Stephen Thompson's 6, Maia's 7, Chiesa's 8, RDA's 9.
Oh, so this is way off.
Yeah.
This is way off. God, what do you do with Chimaev? I mean, what do you do with him? He's rolled through 3. He's taken 0 punishment in 3 fights. And I have to eat crow on this because I posted on the page and everybody gave me shit that the train was going to get derailed. Side note, you know where my money was on, but I was making a case for Merchant that the dude's had 44 fights. He's had 44 professional fights.
Still pretty much has had 44 because that didn't really count as much of ones.
I mean, I would have expected a lot more, but then again, I don't know. Maybe the nerves got to him. I don't know. Chimaev did his job, though. I mean, he's like, I smashed him. I smashed them all.
So, but what? So, like, that's the other thing is I'm trying to figure out what Chimaev is. Is he Khabib with like above average striking? Is he Khabib with like elite striking? Like he's not elite strike. He's not elite, but I mean,
we're not going to know until he gets in there get him in there.
I was kind of hoping to see somebody that could like make him work a little bit. And I thought for sure Merchant would make him work a little bit.
I did too. That was my thinking going in there. And he just walked.
But people, this is what's crazy. He's Conor. He's going to have a Conor like Rice.
Yeah.
He's going to get all the favors from Dana. He's going to get everything because he'll fight anybody. He'll move. He's bouncing weight classes, 185 to 170. He's starching people. He's calling his shot. He's doing exactly what he says he's going to do. He's double booking. Dana's never done this before. He's allowing them to double book opponents in different weight classes. And Dana is going to allow him to keep doing what he wants as long as he keeps backing everything up.
Yeah. And Dana's probably he's getting off not having to pay him yet neither.
He's getting compensated.
You think, well, he probably got a nice little bonus after that.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as
Chimaev's money's coming.
Maybe Maya is the next fight and see how he fares with Maya. And if he rolls,
he's going to murder him.
I know. But then where do you go? If he beats Maya, do you give him Thompson? Like, because after that, it's like,
so it's either Thompson or it's like an Edwards. But dude, I'm telling you. So in the next 3 to 4 fights, he will fight for the 170-pound title, whoever it is. In 3 fights. He has
so too.
He wins his next 2 fights. His 6th fight in the UFC will be for the 170-pound title. If he wins that, he will go up and challenge for the 185 title within another couple of fights.
I think he could win both. I think he can win both.
I think there's a very realistic chance that within his first 8 to 9 fights in the UFC, he is either challenged for or holding the title at 2 weight classes.
What do you think the biggest reason for his success is? If you had to nail one thing,
he's from Dagestan.
That's. I mean, what did I say the other day? If you're from Dagestan, you just sign the damn contract because those guys are killers.
Dana should go to the UFC. And
how many guys?
Or Dana should go to the Dagestan government and say, I'll give you guys $300 million, and any baby born in Dagestan is automatically a UFC fighter.
Oh man, I love it.
Why don't they just have a Dagestani division? Because other people can't hang with them.
That's it. I think it's a mindset thing. I mean, you get the fighters that talk, but then you get the fighters that do. He talks and he does. I think it's a mindset. His confidence when he gets in there, you can just see it. It's written all over his face. Like this guy. He's like, I'm gonna smash this guy, and there's no second guessing. You can look at Cowboy with the mind stuff versus Chimaev, 2 separate animals.
That's where it's the Connor stuff all over again, right? He talks all this trash, he puts all the pressure on himself,
Yeah.
and he rises above it and does exactly what he says he's going to do.
Certain fighters just have that it factor, and he has it.
And by the way, I'm not saying he's Connor skill wise or whatever, but he has that mental makeup, and I mean the ability to just say it. He believes it. He doesn't doubt it. He makes it happen.
What if he
And and I'm betting he'll have a bigger. He'll get bigger than Connor.
think so?
Yeah,
I don't know if he quite has the mouth as Connor has, though.
He doesn't need to. He's fun enough. He's fun.
Well, yeah, everybody likes
right?
to smash. You hear everybody smash.
You know,
smash,
and he's
smash.
fun. Like the merchant stuff, he's like, I'm only a blue belt. If I choke you out, do I get your black belt? Like that stuff, it's fun. He's fun enough. And if he just destroys people. So here's the interesting one. What happens if he climbs the mountain at welterweight and nobody still wants to fight him, even though he's winning the belt? I mean, it's gonna be like Amanda Nunes and Shevchenko, where nobody's even really close.
We don't even have. There's not even really any up and coming welterweights that are. And the 185 division, gosh, he goes through and just rolls through everybody, I think.
See, that's where I think it gets interesting. It gets in the elite 185. That's where I think he could, like Apollo Costa. That's, like now he's going against giant men that are lightning quick and elite athletes. Israel Adesanya, that's really interesting. If somebody like Izzy's skill set, I didn't even think Yoel Romero. I think him and Yoel Romero is like a super fun fight.
I don't know. UL doesn't do it for me anymore.
Still terrifying.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's terrifying because he's like 80 years old. I did not expect to see a one-punch knockout like that.
Not like that. Right?
Blew me.
We were playing games with my family, and I just said, I think this fight's actually going to be pretty quick, inside a round. And we were playing a card game, and I said we just had to pause the card game and let me log on and go do that and go watch that. And my mom was like, "Did you think it was going to be over that quick?" I was like, "No, not like that."
Yeah, crazy. Well, the kid's got a bright future. I think he'll be fighting again soon. I mean, why not just book him again soon? What's his total cage time? How long has he been in the cage? Under 5 minutes? 3 fights?
But I know that
they've all been first round, right?
I know he's been punched 2 times in a UFC cage in 3 fights.
That's unreal. To be fighting at that elite level and to have 3 fights and only be hit twice. Crazy. What about what'd you think of Nico Price, Donald Cerrone?
Nico is the better fighter.
I thought the decision was good. I mean, as much as my money was on Nico, but I didn't agree with the point deduction. I mean, I know they should, but they never do. And for him to take that like that,
the problem, like that, as a competitor, like what you really want is consistency in sports, right? Like you want consistency.
Yeah. Yes.
That's very frustrating to me that it looked like they were accidental eye pokes.
Yes.
And we see this quite often, and you don't see points taken away. And then for some reason, he decides to take that away. That seems a little weird because otherwise Nico wins that 29-28 pretty easily. The one judge that had it 29-27 for Cerrone, again, like there should be consequences for this. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Donald Cerrone did not win 2 rounds.
No.
He barely maybe won the third. I mean, he probably won the third, but
he probably won the third round.
It was pretty close. It was still pretty close.
Yeah.
Like they were both like, it was close. But I don't like the eye poke thing unless, and I've heard Brendan Schaub say this, and I actually agree with it. Even accidental or not, making an automatic point deduction. Fighters will figure out how to close their fingers.
You would. I mean, I obviously I haven't been in the cage, but how hard is it to control that? You've obviously been in there 4 or 5 times now.
I'm not gonna lie. So we spar with little gloves, right?
Yeah.
I spar with we spar with the little gloves.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the ones that curve your fingers, like the muffin top ones,
Yeah.
I train them both. I need to start doing the muffin top ones a little bit more because the other ones that are like the UFC style, it's pretty easy to poke somebody in the eye on accident.
Okay.
But that being said, I don't know, man. Like it's, dude. I mean, the damage like that people have taken in those fights. Stipe. I mean, it took Stipe out for over a year.
Yeah.
You know, for IPA. Like I think the UFC really, really has to look at getting a better glove that makes the fingers.
Which there's one out there, isn't there?
Yeah, Trevor Whitman.
Trevor Whitman has one.
You know, makes the fingers do this, but still gives them the ability to grab. But like when they're holding, just holds them kind of closed. But it was a good fight. Cerrone seemed there. He's still tough. Like he still has got it. But like Nico Price isn't even a ranked guy, and Cerrone couldn't put him away. Couldn't really impose his will on him. It's like when Dana says it's probably time for him to retire. Cerrone doesn't want to, and that's fine. But it's like, dude, you're probably not even a top 15 fighter anymore.
No.
And so it's like, what are you fighting for? If you do it just because you love it and you want to do it, and as long as you're not getting brutally knocked out, okay.
Which he isn't. He didn't take that much punch. I mean, in the first round, in the first 3 minutes, he did take some. I thought he was going to get finished, honestly.
He was hurt in the first round pretty bad. That I thought, yeah.
But he came back. He came back strong. I think it's time for him to, just don't go to bare knuckle.
That's where he'll end up. I just saw a thing that freaking Frank Mir just signed with him. People are like, oh, this is great. This is awesome. No, it's not. It's exploiting fighters that don't know how to let it go.
We really should reach out to that guy that I think his name's Paul. That he's always tagging me on Facebook. I don't know if he listens to the podcast, but if he does, reach out. I'd like to get his opinion on some of that stuff. I've tried to get into it, and I'm a huge fan of combat sports, but I watched that main event a couple weeks ago, and I thought, man, that's a good fight. But then looking at those two guys, we don't need to go down that rabbit hole again, but
Johnny Walker
looked impressive. I thought Ryan Spann was going to do it. I thought he did. I thought he had it. Like he did have it, and then he lost it.
That was a weird fight.
Somebody said something about illegal blows. I didn't notice anything illegal in there. Spann's corner was yelling about he was getting hit in the back of the head or something.
Kind of looked like it to me.
I didn't really catch it, but
the bad part of that fight is I thought Spann took about 4 or 5 shots that he didn't need to. That ref has had a rough stretch the last month. Yeah. He's been bad.
Yes, very bad.
He's been bad.
Well, Johnny Walker seems to maybe he's relevant again in the light heavyweight division. I don't know.
Let's see him win another 1 or 2. Let him get on a little win streak before I say he's relevant again. He switched camps again, so he was with Firas Zahabi at TriStar up in Canada. Switched over to SBG Ireland with John Kavanagh and that Conor McGregor team, right?
Yeah.
So he's over there now. So I'd like to see him stick with the camp.
Yeah.
Same camp and coaches. But if he puts 2 or 3 together, he could go on a run, and that 205 division's open.
It is.
Our girl.
I saw somebody tweeted yesterday, she's got some darn good jujitsu. Jiu-jitsu is slick, and it won me a little bit of money too.
Well, she's world class.
Thank you, Mackenzie. That was slick.
She's world class, and once she got in that position, Rondo, that was super foolish of her to just accept going to the ground with her.
Yeah, not smart.
These fighters, I think they get it in their head where they're like, she may be world class, but like I'm good too. Like I'll show that I can do that, and it's just there's levels and I mean, she could probably go down. She survived fine for a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's like the longer you're down there, the more likely that something's going to happen.
And it did. Kevin Holland, Darren Stewart I thought it was a damn good fight.
It was a good fight. It was very competitive. It was razor thin.
I was surprised the odds were so far in Holland's favor because Darren Slouch is he's no slouch. And it was razor thin. I thought it really could have went either way, honestly.
It was close.
Yeah. What's next for Holland?
Jordan, I don't know. Top 15 guy? He's 3-0 in the UFC, right?
Yeah. What is he? Was that 185 or 170? 185?
I think it's
185, right?
185. He's a 185er. Yeah.
Chimaev?
Stop it.
They're both 3-0.
That's hardly the same thing. Chimaev should not be getting any fights of anybody that's not top 10
Yeah, I agree.
at either weight class.
The
Here, Chimaev, if he's going to fight again at 185, since he's double booking and he's already booked with Damian Maia, he should just go ahead and book Derek Brunson at middleweight.
ooh, I like that.
Darren Till, Yoel Romero, Jack Hermanson, Jared Cannonier. Dude, all those fights. Sign me up. I would love to watch all those fights with Chimaev. Oh, I love that guy.
Yeah, give it to him. The prelims were stacked and a bunch of upsets.
Really good prelims.
A bunch of upsets that I don't think a lot of people saw coming at all.
My boy Tyson Nam, heavy hands.
Heavy hands. Yeah.
Really good. Starch that dude. TJ Laramie was a huge favorite. Got a little cocky against a submission specialist.
And I was reading online before that fight, and there was a bunch of people saying, don't sleep on that Derek Minor guy. And every one of them were saying that guillotine choke is no joke, and that's what he gets. You think it was a little overconfidence in TJ?
Yeah, to me, that looked like overconfident wrestler, right? Like, I'm going to get you. I'm going to put you against the cage. Yep. Oh, if you grab my head, you have my chin, like, it's fine. Like, we're just, and it just.
How about Randy Costa getting the KO? Whew.
Yeah, he looked good.
He looked good. Who else had? Silva had a slick submission too. She had a slick submission too.
Yep.
Won us a little bit of money too. Thank you.
She sure did. Damon Jackson.
Damon Jackson looked good.
I didn't like that he tapped him and then stood over him and screamed in his face after. Yeah. I do not like that.
Yeah, I don't really like it either, but I don't know. The emotions running high.
I mean, I get the emotions. I'm just, you're a professional fighter. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
You're professional. Act like it.
Go jump on the cage. Don't scream in the guy's face.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, this weekend? We got some fights this weekend coming up. Are we done with this last card? Did we cover everything?
Everything I wanted
from last week?
I mean, all I really want to talk about was Chimaev and.
I know, that's all we really we were itching to talk about Chimaev all weekend. Oh man, I can't believe I made that post, and then 2 minutes later he's out.
I respect that you left it up there though, and you didn't delete it immediately.
Hey, you knew where my money was, so I was just trying to make a case.
Everybody, Jason put $500 on Gerald Merchant.
I was trying to call my shot, and it just didn't work.
Yeah.
Kind of like Skip Bayless did with the Panthers. Panthers are going 2-0. Cam's MVP tweets, and then 2 minutes later they stop him. Not gonna happen.
Oh, you mean the Patriots?
The Patriots, yeah, Patriots. Sorry. Dude, we got a huge card this week. Huge pay-per-view this week.
Wow.
Who you got in the main event?
I don't know.
Have you even thought about it?
Yeah, I've thought a lot about it. I've gone back and forth. I thought for sure when this fight announced, Izzy wins with a highlight knockout. Paulo Costa's too aggressive. He's going to come in. Izzy's going to freak. I keep seeing in my head, like Acosta being too aggressive and Izzy like stepping outside and like high kick, like head kick knockout and dropping Costa. And there's just something in me that feels like Izzy is a new level of confidence. And he's obviously way more technical and has way more weapons. But at some point, that power and speed that Costa carries, it's a pretty big equalizer.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same
I'm kind
thought
of
of you as I was all in on Adesanya at first, and then the more that it's kind of gotten built up, I'm like, maybe I'm leaving a little bit on the table with Costa. And he looks lean. He looks in shape. Like he looks like he's ready for a little higher paced. He did.
I think both.
I like the little interaction between the two the other day.
That was interesting, wasn't it?
Telling him he looks skinny.
That was interesting. Man, I don't know, man. I usually have a hardline stance. Like I feel like I'm pretty good at not just, I'm pretty good at picking. And I can't on this one. I can't figure out on this one.
What about Reyes and Blachowicz?
I think Reyes wins.
I think so too. I think he gets that. I think
Reyes and Santos are the best 205ers in the world now that John Jones is gone.
Yeah. I think
until Chimaev comes up to 205.
Oh man.
I'm just
They got Sarge Eubanks is back on this card after just fighting a couple weekends ago.
Yeah.
Who else is on?
Quick turnaround.
Diego Sanchez, huge underdog against Jake Matthews.
Well, he should be a huge underdog. Jake Matthews is a beast and an up-and-comer, while Diego is, I love him. Followed me back on Twitter. Shout out Diego. But that's going to be a tough fight for Diego.
Yeah, that could get dangerous. That could get very dangerous.
Juan Espino, is this his second fight since winning the Ultimate Fighter against Jeff Hughes? That's going to be an interesting, the early prelims.
I'm not sure. There's also on there contender Caesar. William Knight's on there on the prelims.
So he's fighting.
Yeah.
No, Jeff
he's
Hughes.
fighting.
No. So this is Juan
Espino against Jeff Hughes.
Won season 28 of The Ultimate Fighter back in November of 2018 and hasn't fought since. This is his first fight in the UFC.
I wonder why he hasn't fought. Strange. Maybe he got injured or something.
Yeah, so
interesting. Should be another fun card. It's a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
William Knight just won. He was the one that won the Contender Series a couple weeks ago on the first. Yeah, on the first. So he's getting in there against Alexa Kamord. I think I said his name right.
Mm-hmm.
He's another Contender Series guy too.
Man, those Contender Series guys, they're bringing them along quick. It's gonna be fun. They're fun.
Oh, you know who this guy beat? His last fight?
Who?
My boy, Justin Ledet.
Who?
Kamor. His last fight was back in January. And he beat Justin back in January.
That's right.
Unanimous decision.
That's right.
Justin's got a big fight coming up.
Yeah. Oh man, did you see Glover Teixeira and Santos got pushed back again because Santos tested positive for COVID now?
Damn COVID. The virus. Well, I think we covered everything today, didn't we?
So I just want to point out something. COVID's a virus. I'm not a doctor. COVID's a virus. It's not going anywhere.
No, it's not.
So at what point do we just figure out how to function as a society without it? Or is this the way the life's going to be for the rest of our lives?
Well, when you get,
because we'll never have fans again.
you know, what's funny is I watch these NFL games and I know they're trying to be, it's more like political correctness than anything. It's you got 2/3 of the field not wearing a mask, and then you got sprinkled guys with masks on. And I'm thinking, what's the point here? Like, it's kind of like on the UFC. It's like you got these guys getting in there and fighting, but then everybody around's wearing masks too. I think
it's great that at least the NFL players don't have to social distance on the bench the way the NBA players do.
That's another thing. It's like, okay, so the NFL players can not have to social distance, but
and they've all tested negative, right? The NFL's testing all these guys every day or every other day or whatever, and they've all tested negative. So everybody that's there in the arena is tested negative for COVID, but the coaches still have to wear a mask, but the players don't.
Do you think that there's
by the way, and Dana White has never worn a mask in his life, will not wear a mask, and interacts with fighters who we later find out have, and shaking hands with him, who have tested positive for COVID.
Do you think there's anything to be said for maybe they just need to do like a herd immunity? Maybe we just all need to just get it and build our systems up for it. Because if you look back through the course of time, and I'm going to get a little historical here because I'm listening to a podcast right now called History on Fire, and it talks about the Spanish invading Mexico and taking over. And one of the big reasons was smallpox.
Yeah.
Spanish people were immune to it because they had grown up with it and their bodies were immune to it. Maybe I'm off. I don't know. But I just was putting 2 and 2 together, and it's like, well, they're immune to it because they've been around it and they're not shying away from it. Yet they pretty much just took over this whole country because they weren't immune to it. I don't know. Not my realm, but.
So I don't know, because I read something that somebody posted about herd immunity and how this isn't the same because you can get it like multiple times. I don't know. Again, I'm not a doctor, but I did go see my doctor last week, and what he told me was it's a virus. It's not going away. At some point, we are going to have to figure out how to function as a society without
wearing a mask ain't it. I'm telling you that right now.
No. Okay, but and see, like Sweden never wore a mask. They had a higher death rate per capita than we did, percentage wise. But they're already back open and fully functioning and going with no restrictions. So what my doctor pointed out was, gosh, why are we even talking about this on?
I don't know.
But what my doctor pointed out was, he said, it's kind of already killed who it's going to kill. When the season spikes again, people are going to contract it. But when the season spikes again, it's going to kill less and less people. But it's a virus, but it's not going anywhere. And the mask thing is, like when I went to Japan when I was a kid, if people weren't feeling well and they went out in public, they wore a mask anyways.
Yeah.
And they're washing their hands more. Like that stuff alone. Like I had a conversation with a guy who's in pediatrics at a hospital. It's our beginning of RSV season. No kids are getting RSV because everybody's wearing masks and washing their hands more. So there's some positives to it.
Yeah.
But there's still got to be some functionality.
I got a lecture from my grandmother yesterday about wearing my mask.
Good for you. I hope she smacked your butt.
She's in Michigan. I told her it wasn't going to happen, but wishful thinking.
How
hey, for the record, if I have to wear one, I'm not a dickhead. I will wear one in a store if they require it.
Let's be clear on this. You are a dickhead, but you will still wear your mask.
But I would, if the store, if there's a sign that says, "Hey, you wear a mask to come in the store," I'm gonna wear the damn mask. But
me too. Just because it says damage plan on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we ranted enough today. What?
Our Lions are 0-2. Hey, Cherie, I know you're not listening, but
yeah.
You know what?
I heard it all day yesterday.
All day.
Yeah, she's texting me. I'm just like, whatever. What did I do? I think I went to pick up my daughter or something. We went to Walmart, and she's just texting me the score. Wee-hoo, wee-hoo.
I don't care. Aaron Jones got me a ton of fantasy points yesterday. Almost 50.
What are the Lions are like the first team to blow double-digit leads in 4 games in a row?
Is
They're like
that
the first team. There's something, yeah.
Could be worse. Could be the Falcons.
Ooh. They were social distancing, Zach. They were social distancing on the outside kick.
Yeah, they were. They've still, that team as an organization is still not mentally recovered from the Super Bowl that they lost.
Nope.
Because the whole time I'm like, man, the Cowboys, I'm like, I guess they could still, like, it's like physically possible that they could do it. It's still physically possible that they could do it. I'm like, maybe.
Yeah.
And then they freaking do it. It was just
crazy.
Just so you know, all you Cowboys fans out there, that doesn't mean your team's good. You still have one of the worst coaches, former Packers coach Mike McCarthy. He's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, not good. Not good. But
cool. Hey, and a little tidbit for those of you that see, Mr. Steven Seiler posted that it's time for him to fight in his home state again, and there may or may not be some local fights at the Maverick Center in the month of November. That's all I can say.
Should be exciting.
Yeah. Steven Seiler in the house.
Steven Seiler in the house back home fighting in Utah.
Yeah, I wonder who he's fighting.
Gosh, who are they going to get him to fight?
I don't know. He's a big name.
He is a big name. They might have to bring somebody in. Isn't he supposed to be on? He was on 2 seasons in a row at PFL, wasn't he?
Yeah, former UFC fighter, Ultimate Fighter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's on the season with like TJ Dillashaw, the Ultimate Fighter, right?
It's exciting. Got some fights coming back. Love it. All right. Well, I guess that's it for today.
Okay.
We got a little political. We talked about the virus. Went off topic a little bit.
Yeah.
Roger that. Well, until next time, we will see you guys later.